Hi, today I decided to film this video so that I can share my story because I cannot take it anymore. My name is Kanaan and I am a 14-year-old 9th grader. I used to live in Dubai in a nice compound called Arabian Ranches until I turned 8, and I used to attend Repton and then I moved to DAA. I had a very comfortable life and we would always travel during holidays, but there was always one problem at home, which was the violence caused by Kemil, and I call him by his name because he does not deserve to be called a father. So he was always very violent and abusive, and I remember once even during my piano class he started beating my mom, and he was about to kill her, and that scene will haunt me forever. So in 2018 my mom finally decided to get a divorce, so I moved to Lebanon with my sister Chloe and my mom since Kemil was moving to Greece. But little did I know that my life would fall apart, since my new life became all about going to police stations and to court, and there was banging on doors, there was always yelling, threats. So my mom had custody of us and we would visit Kemil during weekends, but those visits were full of fear and worrying and uncertainty. And for me, Fridays were always the worst days, since I would be worried and nervous thinking about the weekend. And for years, twice a week, I would have to go to the police station for pickup and for drop off. And in his house we would experience all types of abuse. He would hit us, lock us in the bathroom, start threatening us, and he would leave us at home so he could go out. And I always had to listen to him speaking bad about my mom to his friends and to his family, and they would always call her the ugliest names in front of me. And his family was an extension of the abuse, the way they would speak to us and treat us. And one time his mom even told my sister that she's ugly like my mother. And another time, for Chloe's birthday, his sister took us to the mall to have lunch for Chloe's birthday. And she took us to get a few clothes for back to school. And then 2 days later, she called us and told us that she didn't end up getting the clothes because Kemil said no. And another time, when we were in Marshall, Kemil wanted to take a picture with the family just to show how perfect we were, but we didn't want to smile in the picture, so he started hitting us, and his niece even said that we deserved it. And sometimes there were good visits and he would be nice, but it was very rare, and we would always be careful not to ruin his mood, and then everything would be bad again. In summer last year, Kemil got married without even telling us, and then on December 21st, 2024, he threw a lavish wedding party in Sursut Palace, and he invited hundreds of people. Even though a month ago he went to court saying he doesn't have enough money to pay for my school or my child support. And he always uses money to humiliate and insult me. So he's the most generous and kindest person to strangers, but behind closed doors he's a scary one. So I always have to beg him to buy me basic stuff, and when it comes to us he suddenly becomes poor, even though he owns many buildings and he has properties in Dubai and Greece and Lebanon, and he has yachts and fancy sports cars. And he always takes his family and friends out on trips, and he buys them expensive gifts. But if I ask for anything, he suddenly doesn't have money anymore. And once my friend even visited him with her dad, and she showed me the pictures. Also, he put a travel ban on my sister and I, so we didn't get to travel for the past 7 years. And when we had the swimming competition in Dubai with the school, we asked him if we could go, and he directly accepted. So he signed all the papers and prepared everything, but he never removed the travel ban, and we kept asking him to, and he kept finding excuses. And then finally he traveled, and it was too late to remove the travel ban. and he like broke our heart into a million pieces since he kept playing us for 2 months and we kept like acting like his slaves not to disappoint him. And he never ended up removing the chavadan, and we never ended up going on the trip. And also when I was in grade 5, he changed my school without even telling me, and it was the most miserable year of my life. So I would cry and beg for hours asking him to bring me back to my old school, but he would never accept. And the school was on his side. They were bullies also. Like when they would send my mom to the police or the court just because like we wouldn't open our cameras during online, and it was the worst year of my life. But finally the next year we were able to go back to our old school. All I want is to have a normal and decent life. So why do I have to suffer while Kmil can afford a lavish lifestyle? And why do I have to be abused and deprived? Just because my mom walked away, I have to be punished? He always used to tell me to come live with him so that I can travel the world. But why would I live with you if you cannot even take care of me for a weekend? If you can afford to give me a nice like life, why don't you just do it here in Lebanon? Because I live with my mom, you want to punish me? And for years I was desperately seeking his attention like any other child. I wanted his acceptance and his unconditional love, but he made me feel like I was hard to be loved, until I finally realized that it's not me, it's him. He wanted to be a father on his own terms, and he never provided me with safety and consistency. The person who was supposed to love me and protect me the most was the one hurting me the most. He stole my childhood and my happiness, and he kept threatening me with my education while I am an honor and distinction student. And I have big dreams to go to med school, and I don't want to have to keep worrying about his problems, and I don't want to be abused anymore.